My wealthiest client was worth $22 million when I was a banker. And so every single day having access to this guy and learning vicariously through him, like, all right, this is what you're gonna do with this money. So now when I look at his money, I'm like, all right, let's do this, let's do that.
Thing that people get caught up on is that they think that it has to have extraordinary monetary value. And I'm like, no, bro, you don't have to do extraordinary things as far as money. You can do anything extraordinary.
But what are some of the best early financial lessons that you learned in your career that really like helps you understand how money works and really just shifted your mindset on money and how to make it work for you?
What I do in the business now is we have a bunch of like lower ticketed products, ebooks, mini courses, etc. And then we have like, I'll call it like our flagship product is our course, which is $14.97 currently. And then from there, our accelerator program, $5,800 currently. And then obviously like higher ticketed stuff as well. So essentially when I'm talking about like digital products in general, it's anyone that has a specialized knowledge that wants to be able to teach that to somebody else. And the thing that people get caught up on is that they think that it has to have extraordinary monetary value. And I'm like, no, bro, you don't have to do extraordinary things as far as money. You can do anything extraordinary. For example, Ellie, if she drops an ebook tomorrow about how she manages a multi-million-dollar business while also having 4 children, extraordinary. How do you even manage 4 children in general? Is extraordinary. So she just needs to be able to teach that, or like anything like that, something extraordinary. It's something extraordinary in general, not money. So so we teach people how to package up the extraordinary information that they have inside of themselves and then disseminate it in whichever way makes sense for their best customer, whether it be ebook, course, accelerator program, etc.
Got you. And because you do everything in excellence, is part of what you teach people like literally how it should be structured and packaged up?
Yeah, for sure. Because
I feel like a lot of people put out a lot of bullshit.
I think the good thing is that anything that I've been teaching is always something that I've either done at a high level or I am doing at a high level. So the reason I'm able to talk to people, digital creators, is like, I just ran this play yesterday and made $100,000. So you should do it tomorrow.
It's not theoretical. I got you.
So one thing, because this is gonna be like a digital masterclass. So if y'all watching at home, thank us later. Thank us later. So
don't solve soul separately.
Exactly. So one of the things that you do and you do very well is webinars, right? Can you like just talk a little bit about the extraordinary how webinars have developed your business and master classes and this your teaching style that's really helped get your customers to help find you and be able to tap in with you?
Love webinars. One of my
I was against it, bro. You
said people will say webinars are dead, it doesn't work anymore, but clearly that's not true. Clearly, right?
No. So I love webinars because they do 3 things. They increase your income, your influence, and your impact. So for me, I get to teach thousands of people for free. And if they get the game and go use it, great. That's what's up. Like, go kill it. That's impact. But I also did that and taught them something for free. So now they're influenced by me because I sat there with you for an hour and a half. So now when I do my lives, 600, 800 people showing up because I'm building that weekly cadence and deliverability to them. And then obviously you make a little bit of money if you do a good job at doing it. So
you make a lot of money, you do a great job at doing it. You know what I'm saying?
This guy.
So that's why I love the webinars. And then also it's a way to acquire customers too, and get paid to acquire customers, because you might spend, let's just say $30,000 to $50,000, and then you might make $70,000 on the webinar, but then those are people that have paid to get information from you that you can then sell into higher ticketed programs if they're the right fit for it. So I guess just to like, we can do a full masterclass.
Let's go there. Let's do it.
So
my homie want to know.
So I'll try to be brief on like each part of it. Moral of the story. So let's just talk about even getting people to the masterclass, right? So let's just talk about, we're going to do it ads. Content is simple. Give away your best information for free. And then at the end of it, just be like, click the link below or comment the word, whatever, to get invited to the masterclass. Free resource for everybody. You want to get mini chat attached to your Instagram.
You told me that shit. I'm like, bro.
I remember when he called me. He's like,
I was like,
why?
I've got the phone with
is
JP,
Justin
bro.
commenting on all these. How's he doing this?
Yeah.
And you told him what the play was.
Right.
Yeah.
So quick play there. Let's just say you don't have enough money to spend money in ads, whatever. That's fine. So you make a good piece of content using the strategy we talked about earlier. At the end, you say comment the word e-com or whatever it is. And you have a software called MiniChat attached to your Instagram, $15 a month. And what it does is every time someone comments a specific keyword, they'll get an automatic DM to their DM. So now the automatic keyword e-com is sending them a link to my training. So now I just put out good content all day and get hundreds of leads. But think about what it does too. If hundreds of people are commenting e-com, then that's telling people or telling Instagram that this post is a good post. So now the post is going viral, forced, because people are getting good information and commenting within the first 10 minutes. Yeah. And then I'm commenting back in the first 10 minutes automatically. So now the comments are doubling or tripling within the first 5 to 10 minutes. So now Instagram thinks this is a great post. Let's make it go viral. And then I'm also getting a ton of leads from it too.
What's so crazy about that is you said that so casually, right? Like just spill sauce everywhere. Just said it casually.
Pick it up.
What's so crazy is that's why it's so important to get access to the right information, the right people, because you probably have people, well, not after watching this episode, but looking at your posts, looking at your comment, like how, and thinking like, how does he have time? Like he's like, and they don't realize there's this systems and infrastructure and technology and strategy. They're playing, as you told me, playing full court basketball with Tim's on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Tim's on with no socks, bro.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's just it's so important. Again, we try to do the same thing with this podcast. Obviously the podcast is free, but like it's so important to get connected to the right people.
No,
you know what I'm saying? And the right information.
1000%. So, and then that's just the first part, right?
Just keep going, bro. Keep going.
So you get people to come to the class because they get that link, right? And then of course they come to the class, and now you have the webinar, right? So there's 4 parts to a good webinar, in my opinion. You have the intro, you have the content, you have the transition, and then you have the close. So the intro is all about authority building, celebrity, recent results, and then testimonials from some of your customers, because my goal, and then also to boost up the market that you're in, because if they don't understand the vehicle that you're putting them in, then they don't want to make a decision in general anyways. So I have to first get you to understand why I'm credible to listen to, and then also why this vehicle is a good vehicle to get into. So you want to make it seem, and it should be if you're an ethical player, that this is a great time and place to get into this business, and it should be. So that's intro. Then you have content. Give away all of your best information for free, but give it away in a way that will remove the limiting beliefs that surround your actual business model.
Because the pushback is going to be, well, if I give it all away for free, why would they buy from me? But you're showing people like what they need to do and maybe a little bit of how, but ultimately you're letting them know like, oh, I can do this, but wait, I need more help if I'm going to actually try to go ahead and do this.
Because at the end of the day, I can't teach you everything about taxes in an hour and a half. It's not possible. So the way that you separate it in the webinars is by 3 secrets, 3 keys, whatever. The first key is the vehicle. So I need you to understand that the vehicle that you're in right now is not getting you to the destination that you want to go to, right? So, okay, well, but don't feel bad about it. Somebody told you to get into that vehicle, so it's not your fault. You just got told the wrong thing. But look at this new character that is in the right vehicle that's showing you how to get it done, and then you throw rocks at all the people that told them the wrong thing. Yo, they told you drop shipping products was going to be good, but you do that for 3 months, the fad goes away. Now where's your business at? They told you to do Amazon FBA, and of course I have friends that do all this stuff, love them to death. But we do this to each other. They told you to do Amazon, but they're not giving you the email and phone number of your customer. How do you truly build a business? What if Jeff Bezos says, hey, our fee is now 50%? Then what? Right? So I just go through all of the reasons, right? And then now that's the intro. Then you go into, intro, then content. Now you go into the transition. This is where typically people really mess up, because they don't like to sell. And one thing that I didn't like to sell. I didn't like to post content. I didn't like doing none of this.
When you attach something, you go all in. We know that.
What I realized was this though. I had 2 realizations. First realization that I had was that if you truly believe that your product is the best on the marketplace, you have a moral obligation to sell it to people. Because if not, they're going to go buy
from somebody else.
BS from somebody else that won't help them. Number two, you don't realize how many people's purpose is attached to you selling them the answer. So you don't understand how many people's purpose is attached to your offer. So I had a friend and he was like, yo, bro, I want to help a bunch of kids. Like, that's my goal. That's my purpose. And he had an idea for a business that he wanted to start. A year went by, he didn't execute on that idea, and he kept telling me about it. So me and Cart, we executed. So I'm like, bro, don't talk to me about it if you're not executing on it. So then, and then he was like, what you mean? I said, bro, you said that you want to help kids, but you haven't started the business in over a year or two. Imagine how many kids' purpose is attached to what you are just being too lazy to execute on. So I'm mad because you're not helping millions of children because you're so worried about whatever limiting belief that you have about the business and starting it.
Yeah, we did a podcast with Ash Cash, and he said, like, you're the delivery person, and you have a gift to deliver, but you're mad or you don't want to deliver it because the packaging is not perfect. He's like, how would you feel if Amazon held your product because they said, the box was dented? You would be pissed. So, like, you know, people are pissed because you're not perfect, or you don't feel like, you know, the packaging is good, but you have a gift. People just want the package. Right. They don't necessarily care how it's delivered.
No, bro. That's great. Yeah. And then lastly, so you got the transition, and the transition is important because that, like I said, people don't like to sell, but I like to sell kind of from my back foot. And then also I like to get permission to sell. So I'll just be like, hey, did I deliver on the promise that I said that I was going to give you? Right. Yeah, you did. Do I have your permission to show you something that I know to be true is going to be the best way for you to be successful in this business? I do? Cool. Because if not, we can stop the class right now. I already have money, and this will not change my life at all. I promise you that. So, okay, cool. I do have your permission. Great. It is. I did deliver. All right, great. So this is what I have to say or have to offer. Right. And then lastly, you go into the close, and that's where the whole presentation was tackling the emotional beliefs and the mental issue things that they were going through. And then the rest of it is logical. So because they're only going to justify the emotional purchase with logic. So we get through the emotions and the limiting beliefs, and then we get into the logic behind it to back the reason why they're making this emotional decision. And that's what you do in the close.
Powerful.
Bro, if y'all just take that framework, hear me, like, I'm serious. If you all take that framework, you cannot not make $10,000 a month. Like, with a small audience, no ads. If you take that framework on posting with a call to action, getting people to the class, follow the framework of teaching and the closing process to whatever offer you have, you can't not make $10,000 a month. And that's $100,000 a year. That's what most people are. That's their first goal. You know what I'm saying? So you can you just follow that. You can achieve your first goal this year or next month if you execute, right? We just gave out a game. Now, what I love about it, this is what you do differently from other people, is that's not it. When somebody buys a course, one thing I learned from my mentor is the best time to sell somebody something is right after they already bought. Right. So you have a back-end framework that you do, if you mind sharing. Yeah, that just took your business, and when you told me, it took my business just to a whole nother stratosphere. Can you just talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So what I started to do was I started to realize that, like George said earlier, not everybody's even opening the course at all. Right. Crazy, but I get it. People busy, whatever it may be. Right. So what I started to do was structuring the sales calls as support calls. So I realized people weren't opening the course. So I just said, all right, we have these people's information. Let's call them and make sure that they're good. They're not opening the course. So let's see what's going on.
You know what's sauce inside of it. You're like, bro, just open the box.
That's it. Yeah. So the team started calling them, hey, do you have all of your credentials? Do you are you good? Did you get inside? Whatever. And then they're like, yeah, just, whatever. And then I'm like, okay, I get it. But then one person was like, well, do you need a little bit more of Justin's help to walk you through the process because you don't necessarily believe that you can do it by yourself, even though you have the information? And then they're like, you know what? Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, so I'm like, cool. We're just going to call everybody that jumps into the course, make sure that they have their credentials, and then also offer to them, hey, if you want to book a call to work with Justin and his team more closely, then you can do that as of now. So now every sale that we make in the business is now pretty much a book call. So that's why I said it's kind of like you're acquiring higher ticketed customers by doing the webinars for free. So now we're just booking calls with 100% of the people that come through the class. Yeah, and
for those of you all that don't think this is going to work, I literally took this framework, ran the play, because what I do. Did a class last Wednesday. Had a person buy the course, hopped on the phone. He's like, yeah, the course is cool. I went over Carter. How much? Like $25,000. He's like, okay, send me the invoice. Sent us $25,000 wire. Came to a event that we just had this past weekend, and we offered it to him like, hey, like, you know, not only do you get to work with Carter, but how would you like to go with Carter to Greece and work with him for a longer time period? He said, bet, send me the invoice. So this one customer that I paid maybe a couple dollars to acquire has made me one person $40,000 in a week.
Crazy.
In a week.
Crazy.
If I didn't offer him the opportunity to work with me, the offer you don't make is the offer they can't take.
Why did Mercedes start making the Maybach?
They got tired of sending the people to Lamborghini and Rolls Royce to get them.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that's not even. I just feel necessary to spill as much sauce as possible with you gentlemen.
we greatly appreciate it.
It's what got you here. Give it as much sauce as possibly can. Do your thing, brother.
But another thing that we started doing too was we realized a lot of people's like payments were getting declined as well. But it's just because like the bank was like having issues or whatever. So we started to have closers on the webinars with us, and then they call everybody who put their information in that declined, and then you can scrape up maybe 5, 10, 15K a webinar just by calling the people whose payments got declined.
They wanted the stuff, but the bank was just like,
but they couldn't. So you just, hey, you want to do any other payment plans, or payment options? PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, crypto. I don't give a damn.
I'm leaving with something. I'm leaving around the way.
I'm leaving with something. Oh my God.
If you want to spice it up a little bit more, a lot of people, some people will, they'll put a live chat on their sales page. So when someone hits the sales page, you add a live chat feature to it. So if someone has a question about something before they make the buying action, because the people who failed, that's only the people whose payment failed because they made the decision. But a lot of people don't even make the decision unless they talk to somebody. So we'll have live VAs answering whatever question that they need on the sales page. And
all these little incremental.
You see why tweets. I have a headache every time I get off the phone with him. I'll call you, then I'll call George. Like, bro, he blew my head off again.
All these little incremental tweets.
Yeah.
Where my water
at? Chewing on all this information.
Right. That's crazy. You didn't even mention the bridge sale.
Yeah, look.
You were my first in time seeing this lane, right? I didn't know there was a place where dope Black people were talking about financial literacy and in their own way and with their own sauce, right? So my first time seeing you was on a Social Proof podcast episode with David Shantz, and I'm like, yo, who is this dude talking about financial literacy and abundance, but then got his New York swag with him, man? So, and then after I saw that episode, it opened me up to this whole lane and this whole world. So I was gonna say thank you, brother.
Oh man, I appreciate it. It's so funny because I think that people don't realize that I've literally been in this game for over a decade.
Yeah.
And so I'm just grateful to still be on a platform. I'm still grateful to still have relevance, if you will. Because my first time, I remember, it's so funny. And I don't think I'll ever say the name, only because the person is still active and I don't want nobody to put two and two together. Yeah. But I remember in 2011, this famous rapper, legend, super duper legend, we had built a friendship, right? And I'm not gonna say it's a her. Okay. So y'all can think of it. It's a her though. Okay. So she and I built a friendship, and I was like, wow, this is a super duper legend. So she had access to a lot of, because she's a legend. So she had access to stuff. So she was working with a particular, network or whatever the case may be, and was like, yo, I love what you're doing. yo, we need this on television, right? And so she had connected with a producer and was telling the producer, like, yo, this is the guy. You need to put him on television. Yeah. And I kid you not, the producer said, Black people do not want to learn about money. And at the time, it might have been true. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I never forgot that. And I said to myself that regardless of whatever happens, I'm always gonna be on this mission to make sure that I'm giving all of the knowledge that I know, all of the things that I learned from being a banker and working with wealthy clients. I'm gonna take all that information. I'm gonna give it back to my community, and that's why I've been on this mission so long. That's why, within the mission, I've always adapted. I'm always, when I had a radio show in New York for 4 years, when radio was the thing, I was on magazines and blogs and, fat shout to allhiphop.com, right? Where at the time where blogs were like super big, I mean, they still around, so salute to them. But when blogs were like the biggest thing, they allowed me to be on their blogs. I think at the time, per month, they would reach about 7 million people. Wow. Right? And so I had that presence doing radio, Hot 97, and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then when it transitioned to podcast and been able to do that. So it's just a blessing, you know what I'm saying, to still have this message. And the great thing, too, is that a lot of the people who might have known me a decade ago were probably younger or, wherever they are right now, a lot of them have followed and continue to grow. And, the mission is still the same. But now, I'm wiser, I'm wealthier. So now I could continue that same passion, but just from a different perspective. So it's just a blessing.
It almost reminds me of how, we think about, people like Jay-Z. Yeah. And he's evolved so much, and you can hear it in his music. And so people kind of be like, well, Jay doesn't sound like he used to sound, right? But people who really respect him or really big fans of him understand and respect the evolution. So it's almost like it's the same thing where you had an opportunity to start on this financial literacy journey, and now you've evolved. And as you've learned new things, as you've invested in new things, as you've built more wealth, the way you can impact in your music, right, through podcasting has been able to evolve as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the beauty of it. Is that now, when I first started, let's say like a decade ago, 13 years ago, I had a certain level of knowledge, right? My knowledge wasn't based on experience per se. It was based on secondhand, right? So, my wealthiest client was worth $22 million when I was a banker. And so every single day having access to this guy and, being one, I wasn't the only one. There was a whole team managing his money and learning vicariously through him. Like, all right, this is what you're gonna do with this money. So now when I look at his money, I'm like, all right, let's do this, let's do that. And so that's what I was teaching. I was teaching not because I had it. I was teaching it because I was helping somebody else do it. As time went on, I went through my struggles, my ups and downs, and figured things out. But then now I know how to manage millions of dollars, like personally, like how millions of dollars flow through me. I can now learn, what does it feel like to making your first million? What does it feel like to have expenses and businesses and taxes and all the stuff that you get to learn about. Now I'm not teaching from a perspective of secondhand. Now I'm saying, all right, look, I'm teaching you because I've been there. This is what I've done, but I still have that secondhand access because the truth of the matter too is that George, like everybody's wealth journey is not going to be the same. Carter has a different wealth journey than Ash. Like we all have different wealth journeys, and I think that as long as we understand that there isn't just one wealth journey. There's different wealth journeys. As you are maneuvering the different types of wealth journey, especially if you're somebody who is in this space, keep yourself open. Learn as much from the wealth journey as possible. Like I'm always a student. Right? Like, Carter has given me so much gain. So I'll give a prime example. Like he just said that he, he knows this space because of an interview he watched with me. Anybody could be egotistical and be like, word, like I'm the GOAT or I'm the whatever. Nah, I don't claim to be none of that. You know why? Because Carter gets into the game hungry, is doing things that I never did. And so now, because I never did them, I'm like, yo, bro, what's up? What's that play?
Yeah, right.
And so now he's in the text. He like to talk, so he do the audio joke. He be like, yo, King, let me tell you, right? So now I'm in the text. He's like, yo, here's this play. Yo, here's this person. Here's this connection. And that's how we build. That's how we grow.
Right.
We grow by always staying a student. You never. I don't forget who I am and how long I've been in the game and all the great things I've done. But I also am very conscious that everything that I've done, that God has allowed me to do, is just a moment in time. And that everybody that I see around me is God, right? You are God in the flesh, right? We're all made in the image and likeness of God. And so if I'm asking God to say, hey, look, I want to keep progressing. I want to keep, right? So God is going to put people in front of me that has the information, and I have to respect that that's who, like, that's their job. That's this is what they came for. And so I just come in here. I'm a humble student. Don't mean I don't talk my ish.
Hey, we all know you. Hey, look,
I talk my ish. So because when people think humble, they think nah. I get busy. I get busy, but I'm humble enough to know, like, yo, there's people out here who know other things that I don't know. And here's the other thing, is that a lot of people, they lie about what their mission is.
Okay, let's talk about it.
And when I say that, I say that if your mission is really about the people, then you will do everything in your power to make sure that the people get what you say they're supposed to get. There isn't a contingency to that. Right? Like, I'm not for the people unless I get paid. I've done many things for free. I show up on my own dime because if this makes sense and this is for the people and that's my mission, I'm going to do it. But a lot of people have sort of used that for the people as a way to get to the bag. And it shows, you know what I'm saying? Where if it is, especially behind the scenes too, right? Where front facing they for the cause. But then when it's time to elevate them where they could use their influence for something, it's like, you know what I'm saying?
They're not doing it.
Yeah.
I love it, man. You just gave us some crazy gems. Let's so you're one of the best in the financial game, and you, like you said, you came from where you started to all the way where you are now. But like, what are some of the best early financial lessons that you learned in your career that really like helps you understand how money works and really just shifted your mindset on money and how to make it work for you? Because we have a lot of listeners that they might look at you like, hey man, he got it already, but like, take us to some early financial lessons that really helps you start understanding money and getting into this space.
Yeah, the biggest financial lesson, and you actually alluded to it. You said, how do you make money work for you? That's the biggest financial lesson I've ever learned in my life. There is no, if you start there, you're good. Like if that's your starting point, if your starting point is, yo, I'm tired of working hard for money. I want to change my relationship with money. Instead of money working hard for me, instead of me working hard for money, I want money to work hard for me. If that's where you start, you're good. And the reason why is because there's a mindset shift that happens when you have that type of thought process. Especially our community, we're taught that we need to work hard, get a good job, you know what I mean, go to school, and then we'll live happily ever after. And so we have this vision or this ideology that the harder we work, the more money we're going to make, where it's actually the opposite. The harder you work, the broker you will be.
Facts.
Right? Think about all of the people you know that have 2 and 3 jobs. They still can't make ends meet. They're still struggling. They're still trying to figure things out. That's because when you understand how money works, you understand that you can buy time. And when you understand that you can buy time and you can expand who you are and make more money by buying time. Like, Diddy has this funny that
video.
Oh my God. He was like,
I pay too many people.
Work this out. I don't want to do nothing but be happy.
Nothing but be happy.
Walk around his mouth.
It's right.
Smell the flowers.
So think about this, right? We talk behind the scenes, and I got a 7-figure podcast, right? And when I say 7-figure podcast, and again, not like
a brand, like a 7-figure brand.
Like we generate 7 figures off of the podcast, right? And so it's like, yo, how do you have a 7-figure podcast? Well, I batch record all of my podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
I have a team of 7 people
Yep.
who I pay to do everything else for the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That it allows me to now create strategic partnerships,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I can spend time. My time is not spent on the things I need to do for the podcast,
Right.
right? I don't come up with the questions. I don't do the research on the guests. I don't have to do editing. I don't have to send it out each week. Like, I don't do none of that.
Mm-hmm.
I got a team so I show up, I record, and then now my time though is spent on, all right, strategic partnership.
Yep.
Right.
Yo, how can we run this bag up together? How can we do this? How can we do that? And so through the podcast, I've been able to create multi-million-dollar, relationships, friendships, and plays that actually help me make some money.
Yeah.
And so when I say that if you start there, I'm always trying to think but right, I had to have money though in order to
buy
that,
the time.
in
Yeah.
order to buy the time.
Mhm.
Right. And so somebody listening to me might be like, well, it's better. All right, cool. You say that, but you got money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where people go, because you got money too.
Talk about it.
The problem is you work for money, then you take money and you buy things.
Mm.
I work for money, and when I make the money, I reinvest it.
Mm-hmm.
And that investment, like I'm okay reinvesting my money,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
right? I reinvest that money, and when I reinvest that money, I reinvest it in something that's gonna make me money. So a lot of people, because they're trying to, they're trying to get the bag early. All right, cool, I made the bag, now I'm gonna spend it, I'm gonna buy the car, I'm gonna buy the house, I'm gonna buy the thing.
Right.
Nah, we good.
Right.
Yeah.
Nah, you know what? I'm gonna take this money, I'm gonna invest it back. Right? And so every time I'm making money, I'm like, all right, what's this investment? I bet. I'm gonna put this money in here. I'm gonna put this money in here. So like, I'll give you a prime example, right? So, my primary residence, pretty big house, right? I have an unfinished basement. And but I'm not thinking I'm like, well, who cares, right?
Yeah.
My mortgage is nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, who cares? Well, 1 month, made a lot of money. I said, you know what? Why are we sitting on this dead asset? You know how New York dead ass?
Yeah.
Dead ass?
Yeah.
This dead asset.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on this dead asset,
Yeah.
right? So my wife and I take 80 grand. So let's finish this whole basement, right? Now we created a 3-bedroom, 2 full bath apartment in our basement in a nice neighborhood, quiet, that we could Airbnb.
That part.
Right? And so now I just took 80 grand that somebody else would have been like, oh, I'm gonna take 80 grand and
buy a car,
buy whatever.
Right.
I took that 80 grand and I threw it in the house. So here's what you gotta understand though. That 80 grand ain't go nowhere. Because now I just increased the value of my house.
Ooh, you talking good ass.
Right? So now I just increased the value of my house, number one. But now I just cash flow my house.
Yep.
Because now this Airbnb, which is I'm 26 minutes from the airport, right?
Yeah.
Everybody want to come to Atlanta.
Yeah.
So now this Airbnb, people want to check it out all the time.
Yeah.
So at minimum, though, if I make $5,000 a month, which I'm pretty sure I make more than that.
Yeah.
But at minimum, if I make $5,000 a month, I pay my mortgage. Now I got money left over to buy the car.
Right.
Right. And so not only did I take this money. And I put it's in the house though. I just didn't go nowhere. If I ever sold the house, I'm getting my 80 back.
Yeah.
Right? But not only is the money in the house, but it's also cash flowing me. Right? And so that $5,000 a month that I'm earning is gonna give me my 80 back in 2 years.
Yeah. People don't understand that. Not to mention, as I don't think you even know how deep you're going with this. Now that percentage of your house is tax deductible because now that percentage of your house. So if your basement represents 30% of your crib, now 30% of all expenses related to your crib are now tax deductible.
And that's why you hire. That's why you hire the tax guy.
So now you're writing off a portion of your house, and then if you want the 80 back, you can just do a home equity line of credit to borrow against because now your equity, you might have put 80 grand in them and now you might increase your home equity by 150,000. Oh, bet I want my 80 grand back. Let me just borrow against the equity in my house and get the 80 grand back. Now I have the 80 grand plus cash flow plus tax deductions by running one play.
Woo! Spicy.